Goodbye, Braintree. Later, Stanhope. Detective Stanhope. To you.
Hello, everyone. This is Rin from Super Cat Punch, and welcome to Abscission. This is a Lovecraftian, story-driven horror point-and-click investigation game. And if you haven't noticed, I have my detective hat with me today. Because we're going to be doing some detective work. We are one Detective Will Stanhope, and apparently our choices influence what happened in the story. So I am really interested to get right into this. I have my detective tea, too. Nothing like a good tea to get the detective juices flowing. Oh boy, what happened? Riverside Ashfield. Thursday, August 1st, 1991. Uh-oh, coppers. I didn't take the catnip. I didn't take it, I promise. Stanhope will sometimes be presented with alternative ways to handle a conversation based on 4 temperaments. Calm, sociable, driven. I thought it said 4 temperaments, not 3. There is no one approach that works best for all conversations, and Stanhope will need to use all of them in order to be the best he can be. The game adapts to your choices. Alright.
No one is using this elevator tonight. You'll have to take the stairs. Why? I'm sorry, ma'am. As I said before, I can't tell you that. But it's our building. That's the way it is. Can we go? Do you want to take the stairs? Hell no. Well, the cop says we can't use the elevator.
Cute.
And what about Mrs. Takahara? You want her to walk up 3 flights of stairs on that hip? I'm sorry, but the elevator can't be used. We'll go to a bar instead. Okay. I'm sorry, ma'am. You'll need to stay for the moment. We may need to ask you some more questions.
I love the way his nose crinkles.
Officer Bruce, would you take a look at that, Stanhope? What the hell are you doing here? This ain't a vice case.
Oh, I guess that's our character. I gotta put on my detective voice.
I'm busy, Bruce. Well, it ain't... Easy, I'm not looking to step on anyone's toes. All I know is that Luna called me in. Why would she call you? You'd have to ask her that. Anyway, if I can help, I will. How do I get to the crime scene? Top floor. The only way up is the elevator, unless you fancy the fire escape. Oh, so he can take the elevator. Lady, I swear to God.
I will crinkle my nose at you, lady. So help me. Oh, wait. I wanted to go talk to the nervous-looking man. The man's eyes were darting around the lobby. He was clearly distressed. He was deep in conversation with Hogan. I decided it would be better to speak to him later with less people around. I'd known Officer Lewis Hogan for around 8 years. I should probably put on my detective voice.
I'd known Officer Lewis Logan for around 8 years. He'd always seemed generally efficient, though a little too reactive in his approach to make detective. Perhaps he was happy with his role and didn't wish to progress any further. An elderly woman was leaning against the wall for support. She gives me a fleeting smile before looking back to her feet. The woman was giving Officer Bruce a piece of her mind. I had no wish to stop her. Officer Steve Bruce was a 6'5" of muscle and bad attitude. We'd had several run-ins over the years, but he was a reliable cop for the most part. The man was in his mid-20s. His eyes were concentrated on the ice cream in his hand as he tried to finish it before it melted. Will he finish it? We will find out next time.
Okay. Maybe I should. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Okay.
A patrolman I hadn't met before was standing by the stairs. I noticed he kept glancing up the stairs. His badge read Braintree. He looked like he needed a cup of coffee. Unfortunately, I only have tea. Ah. There was a considerable amount of blood staining the cloth that covered the floor. Judging from the color and viscosity, it was still relatively fresh, and it was not, indeed, paint. There were pots of paints, brushes, and a palette on the table. Green paint had spilled and dripped onto the floor, staining the planks.
I don't think I'm going to be able to keep up this voice. It hurts my throat after a while.
The bookcase held an interesting collection, though not in any kind of order by genre or author. Genre. Most of the books were of the work of artists using very different techniques. Warhol sat next to Vallejo, for example, but there were some classics mixed in, such as The Right of Man by Thomas Paine, and philosophical works from Woolf and Craven. It was most likely a lifetime's accumulation, rather than a chosen selection from a larger collection. Ah yes, an astute observation that will not help us here. A large collection of painted canvases, many of them framed, filled shelving that ran across the back wall of the apartment. This was more than simply a hobby. This is a vocation. I should ask the landlord about this in order to flesh out the victim's background. A half-completed canvas has fallen on the floor. The image seems to be of a forest, though underwater. A curious image. The elevator door on this floor was stained with blood. Officer, you must be Detective Stanhope. Very astute. Was it the coat? Also the fact that they let you in. I'm Officer Dan Braintree. Good to meet you. What do you know about the crime scene? Well, the most, I suppose. I was the first responder on the scene. According to the landlord, the vic's name is Serena Challenor. She's upstairs. I thought it was a domestic. Anything else I need to know? Just prepare yourself before you go upstairs. It's unbelievable. I'll do my best. No problem. You look tired. Been up since 5 this morning. Couldn't sleep. Maybe you should get a coffee. Or a tea. Where is Detective Luna? In the bedroom. I don't know what she's doing in there. I wouldn't want to stay looking at that. Probably investigating, as investigators are wont to do. I haven't seen a crime train. A crime train. Yes. English. Sure is. I haven't seen anything like it. Just wait until you see upstairs. Worse than this. I'd prepare myself if I were you. It's not pretty. At what time was the call? Just after 10 p.m. The landlord called it in. What's his name? Carl Laidlaw. Last I saw, he was with Hogan. Huh. Did you see anyone when you got here? Just a couple of residents milling around. There are no neighbors exactly, as the victim rented the whole top floor. I think this place used to be a factory or something. Think they're being confined to their apartments for the time being until we know more. Actually, they seem to be buzzing around the lobby, as if trying to escape. You have to talk to Bruce about that. Have you spoken to the neighbors? Not really. Hogan was looking after that. Goodbye, Braintree. Later, Stanhope. Detective Stanhope. To you.
Let's, go upstairs? Okay. Oh my goodness.
Her name was Serena Challenor. I've never seen anything like it. Are you sure? What do you mean? Luna, what is this? Look at her, Stanhope. Look at her.
The woman, or what was left of her, was tied to the wall. Her jaw was distended, Her skin was a patchwork of blood bruises. Ribs pushed through jagged flesh, ragged flesh. Jagged, ragged, it's the same thing, okay? She appeared to have been hollowed out with very little besides bone and gristle remaining in the sagging remains of her torso. My goodness. Detective Amelia Luna. I'd known her for around 10 years, by which I mean I'd worked with her. I don't think anyone really knew her. We had been partners until the Loscato case. I hadn't seen her since until now. Maybe this is connected to the Loscato case?
But this antique vase, this is a real interest here.
It was an antique vase, rather plain but imposing nonetheless. Perhaps it was a family heirloom?
Have you been here long? About 20 minutes. I was surprised you called me. Honestly, so was I, but I hope you can see why. Just look at the poor woman. But there are other detectives. Isn't Jim Lewis your partner? He's on leave, but even if he wasn't, I think you're a better fit. I don't understand. Do you need my expertise with evidence gathering? Just look at her, Will. Doesn't this remind you of something?
Loscato prosthetics. Oh, I was right. There was a twitch in her eye, between the lid and the orbital floor. It was a tiny window to the nerves beneath.
I see.
I need to get my head around this scene before forensics get here.
I understand.
Can you look up some leads while I'm here? Anything to get us started?
Will do. About this case. So what do we know so far?
The victim's name is Serena Challenor. Hogan is getting some more details from the landlord. He was babbling when I got here.
I can see why. Do you have any suspects?
Not yet. Hopefully we can find something around here that gives us a lead.
You think this is linked to the Loscato case?
Look at her, Will. Can you really tell me this isn't the same way the others died?
Well, I can certainly see the similarities, but that means nothing without a proper investigation. Similarities. Her body has been emptied. You can't tell me that's a typical modus operandi. Of course not, but look at these ropes. I don't even know what they're made of. There were fibers found at Loscato too, but burned up in the fire. They could have been there. It's a stretch. Look, I'm not saying that I'm taking Loscato off the table as a possibility. What are you saying, Will? The Loscato case was horrific, and I don't blame you for responding to the emotionally charged media furor.
There was a momentary flare of anger in her eyes before she sighed and took another drag of her cigarette. Don't smoke, children.
Will, you're a good man, but you need to learn more about people.
Well, excuse me, princess.
Let's discuss something else. You're clearly getting uppity. Amelia?
Yes, Will?
It's been a long time.
2 years, give or take.
Not the way I'd hoped to meet again.
You can't pick the hand you're dealt, I guess. Are you looking after yourself?
Yes, of course.
Of course.
What have you found so far?
Not much. I'm still taking it all in. Sorry, it's just... Look at her. I can't imagine what she went through. Ugh, I don't want to think about that.
We should catch up.
I can't think about that now. There's too much here. I need to think.
Of course.
I don't mean that I don't want to talk.
I understand, Luna. Probably more than most.
I know you do.
Let me have a look around.
Thanks, Will. It was a curious, parched landscape. The earth had an odd texture, remarkably opalescent. The brushwork was almost photorealistic. I personally preferred my art a little more abstract, but could see the appeal. Alright, let's try going back downstairs and see if we can talk to some of these people. An ice cream stain. Some people had no respect for their surroundings. It made me sick. Alright, let's talk to this nervous man.
Sir? Sorry. May I ask you a few questions? I spoke to the other guy, the cop over there. He said I'm not in trouble. Am I in trouble? No, sir. We just need to get a clear picture of what's happened here. Let's discuss what happened tonight. Can you start by telling me your involvement? I wasn't involved. I just found her. So you called it in? Yeah. And what time was this? About 9:30, I think. I don't know. The other cop said it was time. I didn't look. So, start from the beginning if you could. You went up to her apartment? Yeah. You had a key. I got keys to all the apartments. It's my building. Miss Challenor didn't have a door as such, with her having the whole top floor. See, this used to be an old clothes factory, so you need to unlock the button to the top floor. I see. How was she the last time you saw her? Happy. She's always happy nowadays, always smiling. Interesting. So when you arrived, I saw the blood. You've been up there. It's everywhere. I just stood there for a while, too scared to move. Then I called out to see if Miss Challenor was okay. There was no answer, so I searched the place. I was careful not to touch the blood, of course. When I got to the bedroom, I saw... Well, I don't know what I saw. You've been up there. What the f*** are those rope things? Who could have ripped her apart like that? Anyway, I ran out of there as fast as I could and called the cops. That's the whole story. What is your name, sir? It's Carl. Carl Laidlaw. I told the other guys this. Relax, it's just to be polite. I like to know who I'm talking to. You're the landlord? Uh-huh, and janitor, handyman, you name it. Thank you. I appreciate the help. I'd like to ask you a few questions about the victim. Okay, sure. How long have you known Miss Challenor? Since January. I think she moved here from down south somewhere. She said she wanted a fresh start. She ain't local. And she rented the top floor. She said she wanted somewhere with enough space to get her painting done. How would you describe her personality? I don't know, buddy. She was quiet, you know? Always paid on time, was polite enough. Towards the end, she sort of changed. In what way? Was she depressed? If anything, she was the opposite. She just smiled all the time. Maybe she was on drugs. She'd hung around with some shady characters. Like whom? People came by, guys. I didn't ask their names. Was she involved in anything dangerous? Maybe. She wore black clothes all the time, listened to loud rock music, all that stuff. Wearing black clothes is hardly dangerous. I know that, but, these kids today get drunk all the time, get into drugs, and her paintings are really weird sometimes, really oily? I don't know how to describe it. Looking at her apartment, she seems to be an artist. Yeah, she was, and a good one, I suppose. Not just an artist, she helped run a gallery too, sold her paintings there. I guess she brought some money with her when she came to town. A gallery? Do you remember the name of it? Star or something. Starlit Gallery, I think? It's over in Neptune. Her and some other girl ran it, but I never met her.
Ooh, I got a clue. Noise. It was a solid lead. I need to let Luna know.
Emilia. Yes, well, I found out where Serena worked, a place called the Starlit Gallery. I've been there, in Neptune, right? That's what the landlord says. Can you follow that up for me? Consider it done.
Okay, I guess that means we can leave.
There was more to be found here. I needed more leads.
Oh? Oh, I think I missed his handprint.
A bloody handprint. Rather large. Could this be the perpetrators? It was broken glass, probably from a vase, judging by the nearby flowers.
Oh, I didn't see the vent the first time. Blood dripped from a broken vent. The metal was buckled and torn. What could have done this? Oh, there's a jacket. How did I not see that before? There was a leather jacket lying on the couch. I assumed it was fashionable, but I really had no idea. There appeared to be something in one of the pockets. I found a small black book, filled with addresses and phone numbers. I decided it could be useful. Really? You're gonna put something that small? This was the little teeny tiny thing that I haven't been able to find. I slipped on a glove and carefully bagged the glass for future analysis. I needed to let Luna know. Okay, this is probably the last thing we need, in order to leave.
I found a piece of glass that looks like it might have been used in the murder. I will get it to the doctor. Thanks, Will. I hope it gives us something.
Nope. Okay, well, I will figure it out next time because that's unfortunately all the time I have left for today. So, thank you for watching, and I hope I made you smile today. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.